Hello everyone, welcome. I am the Strategy Professor, and this is going to be episode 1 of our new series. It's going to be the Vampire Counts campaign on Legendary. So, I have 2 other series currently. If you haven't watched them, be sure to give them a glance. We have the Dwarves, and we also have the Greenskins going. If you would like to know more information about just basic systems in the game, such as how does armor work, how does melee attack interact with defense, and what does that mean in terms of combat effectiveness, and a variety of other basic, but yet not very well explained concepts that are in the game that apply to all factions. If you want that, check out the first couple of episodes of the Dwarf campaign. I have a nice table of contents timestamp list on those videos, so you can just jump to whatever you find most relevant, even if perhaps you don't like the Dwarves, which I think you should like them. There's lots of stuff that could also apply to the Vampire Counts as well, but I'm not going to be reiterating a lot of that because I think there might be some crossover of viewership, and I don't want to bore people to tears by going over things that I've already done for a few episodes. So this won't be as instructive in terms of basic elements as the Dwarf campaign. So if you're looking for that, just check out the first couple episodes of the Dwarf and then hop back over here, and we'll just move on with some more advanced concepts. Okay, so I'm only going to use one mod, and this is the Conquer Everywhere and Diplomatic Options mod. So the Conquer Everywhere just lets you conquer every single province in the entire map. So I think this is the way that Total War should be played, where you just conquer the world and take over, and that's going to be my victory condition. I'm going to try to get every single province on Legendary. I like what they were trying to do with the concept of these regional occupation limitations, just to give everybody a different experience when they play a different race. You're dealing with different challenges and different geographies, and that's really cool, and I like the concept of that. But I don't like that you can't take over the whole world. That's what you want. In Total War, you just want to go to war with everybody and take over the world. At least that's what I want in a Total War, so I got the mod to fix that. And the diplomatic options really aren't going to affect us probably at all. All it does is it allows every single faction to confederate. So usually it's just the dwarves, greenskins, and humans that can confederate, but now this will also allow the Vampire Counts to confederate, and Chaos might be able to confederate. I don't know. I don't think so. I've never played Chaos, but I don't think it affects them. And frankly, it's not going to affect us most likely. There's only 2 other vampire factions in the game, I believe, and we're going to go to war with them almost right off the bat to take that territory. So it's not really going to affect us either. So, alright, let's go ahead and jump in here. Do a new campaign. Now, I've played about 20 turns on the Vampire Count Legendary just to get a feel for what's going on in the early game and starting to move into the mid-game, just so I wouldn't have to take as long to sit there and read all these things and come up with the strategies that I want to do. So I'm not super experienced with them, so this will be interesting because you can kind of learn at the same time that as I learn some concepts here. But I do have a Greenskin campaign Legendary that's 90 turns. I have a Dwarf campaign that's 55 turns, another Dwarf that's 25, and another Greenskin that's about 15. So I am pretty experienced with playing Legendary in Total War, and I'm in pretty good shape in all of those campaigns. But let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so the playstyle, you always want to think about what is your victory condition? How do you win, and how can you stop your opponent from doing what they want to do to win? So the vampires have a very unique playstyle because they don't have any ranged. So that means you're going to have to rely a whole lot on flanking and really utilizing their flying units to lock up their ranged so that they can't play the way that they want to play, which is usually using ranged, especially for the Empire and Dwarves. So you want to make sure that you get your bats on them, that you get your Vargeist on them. You have to have some pretty good positioning with those to really nullify the advantage that other races are going to have with you in terms of ranged. So in the 20 turns I played, this didn't seem like it was too much of a problem. The bats are really fast, so are the Vargeists, and they can really get on the range, and that's not the real problem with the Vampire Counts. They have really strong magic, especially duelist magic, so you can go up and often take out their lords pretty quickly with Mannfred if you just spam Spirit Leech on them, which is very useful because that's one of the few things they do super well on the battlefield is magic. They have very, very strong magic. Fear is okay. I mean, it adds a modifier to leadership. The AI gets a huge boost to leadership on Legendary anyways, so I don't think it makes a ton of a difference, but it's a nice little perk to have. Your units will stick around and never run, but they'll start dying off over time. They'll start crumbling. So it's kind of a trade-off. I mean, you're going to get completely wiped out if you lose a fight, so don't think you're ever going to be able to run and that you're ever going to be able to just, you know, remuster some more units. Everybody's dying. But your people also won't run, and they're immune to fear, so that's useful. The biggest drawback that I've seen so far to the undead is their economy. I think, unless there's something else that I'm missing, I think they have quite a weak economy because they can't build their money building, their standard money building, until tier 2, and it only gives you 100 gold for building it. Most other factions have something that will give you more money than that. So the dwarves have trinket makers that gives you 200. The greenskins also have the chest of shiny stuff, or whatever it's called, that gives you 200. I think the greenskins actually have the best economy on Legendary, which is ironic because under their tab it says that they have like the worst economy, limited economic buildings, but they have the best. Go check out the greenskin campaign if you want to know why. But basically it's because they have standardized buildings that don't involve trading. So I think the vampire counts, their economy might be balanced around trading and establishing trade routes, but that's just not going to happen. Everyone hates you on Legendary, especially as the vampire counts. So many places are going to have aversion to you that you're going to be getting, you know, negative 20, 30, sometimes 40 modifier from aversion. And as you increase in power, which you naturally do if you're playing Legendary the correct way, then you're also going to get a, like great power modifier, which is going to be anywhere from 10 to 60. And my, I think it was either my greenskin or my dwarf campaign where I had a significant amount of turns. I was number 1 for quite a while, and I got up to a negative 60 modifier. So you're just really not going to be trading at all. So if they're balanced around the trade mechanic and that you should be able to get these resources and trade, then you're going to get shortchanged on Legendary. So we'll see if we can work around it, but just be aware that the economy does seem to be a major sticking point in my limited experience with the vampire counts. But let's go ahead and get in here. Their geography is also much harder, I think, in the mid-game because you don't have anywhere to hide from chaos. They're going to be able to come at you from so many different angles. It could be pretty hard to stop. Whereas if you're the dwarves or the greenskins, you can cut off the choke at the black mountains or whatever they're called. The huge mountain range that separates the southeast portion of the map from kind of the bowl shape in the middle of the map. We're not going to be able to utilize that. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Okay, so it's got to be Mannfred here. If you're trying to run a serious campaign and you don't have a ton of experience, it needs to be Mannfred. He's just so strong. He's a great melee fighter. He has just as much magic as this other guy. In fact, he has way more magic than this other guy, I believe. And he starts off with the capacity to cast all of it right off the bat. He gives this huge perk, plus 5% movement range. This is one of the best racials you can get in the game, and this is one of the second best that you get your Graveguard and Black Knights. Your core units in the mid to late game all get a reduction to upkeep, so you just have to pick him. The only other option is this guy, and frankly, from what I understand, he's just not all that great. I mean, yes, you do save some money, you do get raised dead, necromancers, you know, you do get some bonuses there, but he just cannot fight like Mannfred can, and these bonuses just frankly are not as good as Mannfred's. So unless you're just trying to challenge yourself and you just have already beaten Legendary, I wouldn't do it. This is what a serious person would take if you're not experienced and you're just looking to win the game. Even if you are experienced and you just want to win the game, this guy just seems way better to me. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'll let you guys watch this real quick.
War is eternal.
If you've seen this in your own campaign, you can just fast forward. It's just a couple minutes, I think.
world, the rotting corpse within. Some fools think it worth saving. But there are beings who wish to bring about an eternal night. I am a bearer of law to those with such power. Vampire counts of the von Carstein bloodline. My master, Mannfred, has returned from the dead once more. He marches on the von Carstein ancestral pile of Castle Dragonhof. For I have brought him ill news that a master necromancer has claimed the fortress as his own. Mannfred must retake his ancient stronghold, and either destroy the usurper within, or bind him to his will. Castle Drakenhof is back in your hands, my unliving sire. Yet you have many enemies, both living and dead, who balk at the threat of a von Carstein reigning from his ancestral stronghold. Much needs to be done. The Templehof brood control the lands to the north, as far as the River Ster. Conflict with them is inevitable, but your will is indomitable. Take their lands, burn their crypts, and deploy their own dead against them. The high mountains to the south are infested with dwarfs. Your homelands will never be safe with such an enemy so close. Make plans to drive their stunted kind out in time. Greatness runs throughout the von Carstein bloodline, my lord. Glory shall be yours, if you are ambitious enough to seize it.
Okay, here we go. Alright, so we get... And they have dark magic. I'll probably just call it gold. I mean, I might call it magic if I could remember, or just cash or money or something like that. This is basically their currency, which is kind of cool from a war perspective. Okay, so the very first building is real easy. It's gold. So you just always get, if you have a gold mine or something like that, which I think at least the dwarves, the orcs, and now the vampires have something like that, you have to get that right off the bat. It only takes 3 turns to build, and it pays for itself in 2 additional turns. So 5 turns pays for itself. As I've said in the other campaigns, anything that pays for itself in 10 turns or less, you need to get it immediately. And then anything that's 10 to 15 is a pretty good buy. Anything that's over 20 really is a luxury, so I wouldn't buy it unless you just have a ton of money floating around. But this, absolutely, turn 1, it's a must buy. Okay, what else to consider? So my overall strategy here with buildings, after reading and just kind of playing through this a little bit, I want to try to rush Crypt Horrors as fast as possible. And the reason is I feel like they're going to be quite good against Empire because they have a ton of armor-piercing damage. And they regenerate. And early Empire units just do kind of slow, steady damage. They don't have a lot of huge heavy hitters early on. So they regenerate and they deal a ton of armor-piercing damage. So in many ways, they're analogous to the trolls that orcs can get. When you heard me, pounding my fist on the table, you have to have trolls before you can fight dwarves. This kind of seems like a very similar situation. They also have poison on their attacks. So, this debuffs everyone, most stats by about 20%. So it's not a huge deal, but it's very nice. They have a good charge bonus. They have a better charge bonus than the Black Knights if you look at this. Black Knights have 24. These guys have 30 charge bonus. So Black Knights are a little faster. You know, a lot faster. They're 50% faster. But just look at these stats. Okay, so the Black Knights only deal... Because I was thinking in my 20-turn campaign I was going to rush Black Knights. But then I was like, well, wait a minute. I mean, they have a little bit more armor. I'm sure they're pretty good, but they only have 24 and 26 base. So they only have 50 combat effectiveness on the base. And these guys have 58 on the base. They deal more piercing. Now, yes, there's more of these guys in a unit, right? There's 60 of them. But I just really want to try out the Crypt Horse. Also, you get a bonus of being able to get a Banshee. So I haven't got a Banshee yet in the other campaign, but I think you really need heroes because you need something that's going to be able to spread that vampiric corruption as fast as possible. It's really, really hard to take territories unless you have a lot of vampiric corruption because you're going to get a rebellion every single turn. And yes, you can probably fight it off, but at the same time, it's going to lock up a hero for quite a long time. So I got Mannfred locked up for 5 or 6 turns just taking care of rebellions, and it really slowed down my progression. Okay, I would also like to get the Vargeist relatively quickly. And the reason for that is they have awesome flanking. You can swoop around to the backside of units and then just fly in, flank, hit them from the back. They have a huge charge bonus. Well, not huge, but they have a good charge bonus. Lots of damage. Not a ton of piercing, but pretty good damage. So these things are fierce. They do a lot of damage. You can throw them down on their enemy ranged, or like I said, you can swoop over behind them and then fly in behind their infantry for a flank. So it's real easy to flank with them, and that's very nice. They're also very, very fast, so 92. So they can run down most things. They're very susceptible to ranged fire, though, so you have to be careful if they have a ton of ranged units lined up ready to shoot you. You've got to find some way to soak those shots up. Okay, so we're going to get this in our main building tree as soon as we can. I would like to transition this cemetery over to a secondary tree. And the reason for that is, I mean, it's nice to be able to build these things, but honestly, you're going to be able to raise the dead and get a lot of these anyways. You don't really need spearmen early because they're not going to have a lot of cavalry or big units around here early because you're going to be facing mostly humans and dwarfs. You can't get the Grave Guard until tier 3 anyways, once you get this ancient armory. So you're going to need the slot here, because if you'll notice, this gold is taking up a slot. I'm going to have to get rid of this to create another slot, which is going to be this. And then I think there was one other building, and you want this in your main building as well, so you can actually upgrade that to tier 4 and eventually get your Black Coach and Hex rates if you want those. But you just need to go ahead and just slide this over to your tier 3 as soon as possible. I made the mistake of upgrading it first, thinking somehow I was going to get those Grave Guards, and then I got hustled and didn't realize you had to have the Ancient Armory, even though it clearly points to it right there. So that's just something to keep in mind. So the priority, and these Crypt Ghouls are pretty good too. Once you start building these guys, they have more attack, more damage, more defense than any of your zombies and skeletons. They cost a little bit more. But they also apply poison, so pretty useful. So these are kind of my starting things, buildings that you want to get to. The vampires have a ton of heroes. They have 4 different heroes. I'm not sure what all these do yet, as I said. I just got 20 turns in, but I assume that some of them can put out vampiric corruption. So I definitely want that ASAP, because that was a major limiting factor before. And you're not going to be able to get... You can also put this in a secondary building, but you're not going to be able to mass this up until tier 4 anyways. So they've got a lot of tricky things here. It looks like you can get Graveguard tier 2. No, it's tier 3. Looks like you can get these guys tier 3. No, it's tier 4. So just be real careful that you read the buildings and the prerequisites, and that you understand what's going on. The rest of the stuff, the growth is nice. They have a great growth building at level 1. It gets really expensive, 750 to 3,000 if you want that extra little pinch of growth. But you get the local recruitment capacity, which is pretty nice, but it's very, very steep. You'll need to get this immediately in non-vampiric territories like the Balefire Brazier. You have to get your vampiric corruption going immediately. It's a huge deal. Now, if you get vampiric corruption going, it's awesome because you don't have to get any public order buildings. I mean, this might as well be public order with all kinds of extra perks to it as well. But when I first started playing, I thought they were overpowered because I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't even need any public order buildings. This is awesome. And I regenerate like 1,000,000 things, a second or whatever, 1,000,000 units after every battle. This is great. But if you're not in vampiric territory, you have a lot of drawbacks. So this, I'm not this is your money building. I mean, you have to get it because you need a money building, but it's really underwhelming. It's only 100 dark magic or whatever. So Vampire got some interesting buildings, but that's just kind of where we're going right now. We really want these guys and these guys, and they're both pretty expensive. But I think if you look at this though, look at the cost though. The Grave Guards are 188, and these Cryptors are only 200. So I haven't actually got these guys yet. I was about to get them in my other campaign, but just for the cost, it seems so cheap. I mean, they're just a pinch more than these guys, and they just really seem like they would destroy a lot of units. So we'll see. I know that the Graveguard are also really awesome, so we definitely want to transition into those. But okay, so that's talking about that. Let's go ahead and look at text real quick. We don't need to look that far because we're going here. I mean, there really are not that many options. If you look at some of this stuff, it's just really underwhelming for how long it takes you to get it. I mean, by the time you're able to get here, yes, melee attack and defense are awesome for zombies because they have such a low base. But 25 turns in the game, is that really going to be, relevant to get +3/+3, 25 turns in the game? I mean, the dwarves, for example, by the time your hero gets to level 6, you get +12/+12 on their base unit. +12/+12. And that's like turn 5 or something, because if you're doing a lot of fighting. So, this is extremely underwhelming. And then a little bit of extra speed for zombies. Once again, zombies don't matter that late in the game, I don't think. Yes, you will have them, but, they're not going to be 35 turns worth of mattering. An extra 5 armor for Graveguard? I mean, they already have like 100. That's like only 5% modifier for 54 turns. That's ridiculous. I mean, the upkeep is nice, but this is just extremely underwhelming. 5 leadership for skeletons for 27 turns? The balancing team dropped the ball on that for sure. That is very, very underwhelming. This stuff is okay, but once again, extra armor for bats is cool. That's just one unit, though. It's a very niche unit that you're not going to get a lot of. Wolves, dire wolves, these units are good, but they're going to be outdated by the time you start getting this stuff. You're going to start getting Black Knights around this point, probably. The Vargulf and Vargeist, I mean, that's great, but you're not going to have a ton of those. You might have a few of those in your army, sure. I mean, that's good. I'm not going to knock on it too much. But is it 27 turns worth of getting garbage good? I don't know. +2 for an extra 10 turns? I mean, this is about like the the Greenskins tech tree. Not quite as bad, but it's close. Yeah, this is terrible. So don't get anything in here. This is respectable because getting 10% campaign movement range is crazy. I read this as my third one, like we're doing now, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is what you have to get. It's only, and the first one's not bad. Crypt Ghouls and Cryptors, I already told you I want to rush these things because I think they're going to be very powerful. And this just, works right in tandem with that, so it seems pretty cool. 10% damage, that's okay. Not great, but okay. These wraiths, I think, are going to be, good units in the late game, I hope. So these are a little under-inspiring, not really that great. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll get some of this and go somewhere else. Then I read this tree. This tree is the only option. It is so good that you can't get anything else. Like, it's crazy. Okay, 10 growth in all provinces. It could just say that, and it would have my vote, because growth is just you have to have growth. That's how you tech up. That's how you get huge units. That's how you get a major advantage on your opponent. This is in every single province, 10 growth, so that's amazing. And then, you know, extra income, 15% income from repression buildings. So it's that little garbage 100 gold a turn building, but, you know, if you get a couple of those in every settlement, you start getting 5-6 settlements, that adds up. You know, it could be another 150, maybe 300 magic, you know, in the mid game. So that's pretty good. And this is the same thing, just even better. So an extra 15% income from cities, and that's going to be even more than this thing, because cities actually do give pretty good money, and an extra 15 growth. So that's really, really awesome. And this right here, this, you have to get this in like ASAP. Like, do not do anything else. You have to have this, because if you get a new province, you need vampiric corruption there immediately, like as fast as you can possibly get it, and this helps you do that. So you absolutely have to get this as fast as possible if you intend on taking any territories outside of your small little corner of vampires, which you should be doing that. So this is less inspiring. So we did that one. That one's good. This also looks amazing. Extra 1 vampiric corruption everywhere, and I think that stacks. So if you have like 3 provinces touching somewhere that you want to go, it's already going to have 3 vampiric corruption on it before you even walk over there. So this is awesome. And they buff each other. So if you have one province that needs a little bit of vampiric corruption, another one right next to it that needs a little bit of vampiric corruption, they buff each other up. So they each give each other an extra 1. So you can start to see how that stacks, I think. It's really, really good. And this stuff down here, you know, I'm not sure how I feel about this. We'll see when we get there. But I do know that getting these as your first 27, potentially getting this after you get baleful rituals, might be what you want to do. But this will keep you busy for 37 turns. So I think this is really good. So I'm going to go through here, most likely. Then I'll probably circle back and get this campaign movement range, because this is good at all points in the game. And then we'll just kind of feel out where we're going from there. I mean, we might come up here and get some of this later on. I don't know. But for the first 55 turns of the game, this is what we're doing. Okay, so we'll just go to there first. Alright. Let's go ahead and look at diplomacy really quickly.
Relations with foreign powers.
Actually, let's just go ahead and get a fight first, and then we'll do diplomacy, because you guys have been talking for a little bit here, so let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Come on. Okay. In my 20 turn, I was able to wipe him out and then fight his buddies here and take them out too. But we'll see if we can do that again.
Destroy them.
Hopefully I didn't just get lucky there. Alright, so 6 on 8. We need to use the Vargulf to tank more. I didn't do that when I was fighting them. And the Vargulf regenerates over time, so you really want to leverage that as much as possible. Mannfred has an amazing skill tree, by the way. We'll show it after this. It's the most impressive skill tree I've seen so far. It's got so many good things in it. So the vampires definitely have very, very strong lords, and I suspect they're going to have very strong heroes as well, based on sort of just some stuff that I read in the encyclopedia about the heroes. But let's go ahead and do this. Also, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but I'm pledging to you right now that I am going to try my best not to abuse the auto-resolve system as much as possible, because I think there's nothing more frustrating for a viewer than to see somebody stack up something like, you know, 19 zombies, or 19 skeletons, or 19 orc boys, or 19 dwarf warriors, or whatever, and just run around and just auto-resolve a bunch of fights that they have no business winning, that they wouldn't win if it was manual. So I promise you right now, I'm not going to do that. I will auto-resolve if it's going to be a stomp. But I'm going to do my best to try to not abuse the auto-resolve system, so that you guys get a nice, fairly clean game. You get to see lots of good manual fights, and this means I might take some more casualties in some instances, because I might see, hey, I could exploit the AI here and, you know, auto-resolve this when I would have no business winning. But I'm not going to do that. I want to give you guys a good experience, and I want to give me a good experience. You know, I'm playing this game for a challenge. I'm playing it for fun. I want to get into good fights. So that's my pledge to you. And I'm not going to try to game the system in any other way as much as possible. So let's Just my pledge to you, I'm going to try to make this the best viewing experience possible. So I want to be as ethical as possible. Okay, let's go ahead and start deployment. One thing I do like to do, and I don't think this is exploitative, this is just playing to my strengths. But I like to just chill at the beginning of a fight if they're not going to come at me. I like to just hang out for a little bit and just let my mana charge up. So I'll fast forward it, I'll put it up to triple speed. But I don't think that's too exploitative. Just going to put some hotkeys in here. I don't think that's exploitative. They could come get me just as well as I could go get them. So, but I think they're going to wait. So we can wait too. Let's see. Yeah, they just want to hang out. And they've got this high ground hill. I'm going to have to fight them up a hill anyways. So they're just playing chicken with me for a little bit. That's fine. So I'm just going to wait until I get 30 energy and I'll start walking over there. Alright, we can go ahead and start. So you will see me fast forwarding quite a bit early on just because these zombies move so slow. Because I need to move into position. Actually, let's put these zombies in their own little group. How do I... Okay. I don't know how to ungroup. I know how to group, but I don't know how to ungroup. That's fine. So they take forever to run over here. Why can't I... What is going on here? And then I don't want to be exhausted. You always want to have the green where it says animated there. That's your vigor. So as I've explained in the other campaigns, vigor affects your melee attack. It affects your morale. It affects your melee defense. It affects a ton of different stats. And I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but I've demonstrated, I think, pretty well in the other campaigns that vigor can be a major factor in your success on the battlefield. So why can't I scroll this? Is the formation locked or something? Let's not lock. Is that what it is? Okay, that's what I did on accident. I locked the formation. Okay. Alright, so what we want to do here in this fight is we just want to get our zombies to take a lot of hits. We also want our Vargulf to take a lot of hits. And then we just want to try to go 1v1 with their lord. Right, we can go ahead and take fast forward off. And we want to use our bats to just come in behind them for a flank, probably on the zombies. So really, we only want the zombies to take most of the damage, and the Vargulf, because they'll all heal. And we're gonna come in and maybe flank with these guys. Mannfred can also take some damage. That'll be fine. Now I can regenerate things too with this. And you have to click a couple of different schools of magic with him, because he has many. Alright, let's go ahead and line them up. So your strategy with the vampires is just to lock them up with zombies or some kind of other units in the front and then just get really nice flanks. They have great monstrous units, so they have lots of great flanking. Okay, these dogs. We're just going to fight them with the Vargulf. If they want to challenge us to that, I'm down with that. But yeah, okay, let's do it. There we go. Running at him, casting Spirit Leech on him. We're going to go ahead and get into position with bats. Get around here to flank. Wow, that just crushed him. That's awesome. So let's actually get around for a full flank here. Spirit Leech is almost off cooldown. Alright. Alright, where's their guy? Sometimes it's hard. Okay, here he is. Sometimes it's hard to see with the cards. Alright, they're aiming for my bats, so I'm getting out of there. They turned around. My bats are getting too hurt.
My cure is dead.
As soon as I get Spirit Leech back, I'm going to put it on this guy. We can do better than this, guys. Come on. So I'm just going to rotate over here a little bit. Guys, one thing with all this melee that the undead has is you don't want to clump up too much. It's okay to just walk out of a fight a little bit. Where'd he go? I want to kill him. Right? There. Okay. Don't want to misclick, because it's a lot better on a single target than it is on multiple targets. Okay, my bats are actually kind of wavering here a little bit. So, just come in. We're going to get a flank here. Alright, we got him. We got their lord. This should help us out a lot. Okay, so let's just run over here a little bit more. So we're just not really, our guys are just really clumped up right now. Just get in here. So with Mannfred, let's just go ahead and heal up the Vargulf a little bit here. He does heal up some on his own, but, you know, we can help heal him up a little bit more, too. I think the battle might end before he gets that full heal off. Let's see. Yeah. So, I probably should have used a little bit more magic in there. I'm still new to the magic, because I use some magic with the orcs. You know, I just spam the steroids on them, which is good. But I've been playing a lot of dwarves lately. They don't have any magic, so. Vargulf was a little bit more hurt than I would have liked. But everything else worked out pretty well. I mean, it's just, that's pretty much what we wanted to happen. I should have cast the heal on the Vargulf a couple more times, I think, in that fight, just to use all my magic. I didn't know they'd crumble quite that quickly. Okay, so we can get leadership, we can get 230 dark magic. We're going to probably fight one more challenging fight here. Usually I like to take the money, but it's only 230 right now, and I think this guy might run back to the castle, if I remember correctly. And having this extra 4 leadership can actually be quite good, because these guys start from a really low base on leadership. So I think I'm going to go for this. Usually the money's the best option, but since we're going to have another major fight here, yeah, he did the same thing. Okay, so since we're going to have another major fight here, I think having that extra leadership is going to be really important.
Eschen is vulnerable to attack, Dark Lord. Seize it from the enemy to open a new front to the north.
Okay. So, just like in the other campaigns, they pretty much incentivize you to do what you should be doing anyways.
Test me at your peril.
So, okay, let me go ahead and look at these skills here. So, he comes with all these awesome perks. So he gets extra 5 versus humans, extra 10 for direwolves and fellbats. They don't even tell you this in the load screen or whatever, and it's just awesome. Or in the selection screen. Student of the Dark Arts, so you can recharge. I didn't use that either. Like I said, I'm still kind of a rookie with the undead, but I feel like I can still beat this on legendary. I mean, I have the pedigree with Total War Attila and the pedigree with the greenskins and the dwarves, which I'm doing very well. Well, very well is an optimistic term, but I'm doing quite well in the other campaign. So I think we can do it, even if, like I said, I'm still kind of learning some of the mechanics unique to the Vampire Lords. I still think overall we can develop a good, solid strategy to win. But anyways, a lot of this stuff is awesome. So let's look at the skills. So right away you'll see he has like a million skills here, and a lot of them are very, very good. So the thing about magic, from what I understand, there's a limited amount, right? Like you have and it's a pretty small amount. Like you can beef up how much you'll get back, you know, as the fight goes on. But in general, I think it's not wise to spec into maybe more than 2 spells that you think you'll actually cast during the fight, because you don't want to spam all of your spells all the time, or you're just going to run out of magic. You want to save it for key moments, key conflicts that you need to resolve. So for example, the Spirit Leech, awesome on enemy heroes. So I know that that's something that I want to save a lot of magic for, so I can take out their heroes, because that's one thing that the vampires seem to do quite well, is to assassinate heroes on the battlefield with Spirit Leech. So that means that I'm probably not going to be casting things like Aspect of the Dreadnought. I'm not going to be casting Soul Blight. You know, I'm not going to have enough mana to cast all of this and Spirit Leech. The only other spell I think that might be worth it is this Fate of Juna, because I think this does quite a lot of damage. I'm not 100%, but I feel like it does a lot of damage. Also, the purple sun might be good. But these are 13 and 15. That's 2 spirit leeches. I mean, spirit leech is probably also quite good on things like giants. So, you know, I'm probably going to save a lot of my magic for spirit leech. This healing one is pretty nice too. It gives back a decent chunk of HP. Now I'm not sure what this does. It's Curse of the Undead. I'll have to look this up and see, because I was trying to find out. But it says around the self affects allies in range, and it says its effect ranges the entire map. It's active if you're casting it, and it greatly replenishes the HP of combatants, resurrects, and heals that. So it seems like it does the same thing as this. But it doesn't have a mana cost. It's a passive ability. Does this... And it says active if you're casting. So does this mean that just everyone on the map is just constantly healing? Is that what this means? I don't know. I'll have to look it up and see. I can get back to you guys on that after this episode. I'll look it up online or something. But if that's true, that is obviously insane. So I'm going to have to rethink my skills if that's true. There's just so many good things to get here. Now this heals on Mannfred all the time. So this is quite good. It just constantly replenishes him. So that's really awesome. Geez, if that's the entire map, that's crazy. I really want to see if that's true. Okay, so I already have this. This just lowers the cooldown of it. But yeah, a lot of these spells seem pretty good, but they're not that... They just cost a lot of mana, and they're not that great, honestly, I don't think. You just want to find those 1 or 2 spells that you just want to keep casting, and you know, go with that. So the magic, it's okay. It's not that great. You can turn him into an awesome duelist, but as I explained in the Dwarf and the Orc campaign, you can have one really strong guy, or you can have 19 other units that are also super strong. So I really like the red tree with every faction that I've played so far, because it buffs up your entire army a tremendous amount. So I'll just jump right to that. But there's some good stuff here. I just think that you're better served by going down the red tree, or if you don't want to do the red tree for some reason, probably one of these magic trees. But the red tree, there's just so much good stuff here. Okay, so let's start with leadership. Leadership is, you have to have really high leadership, because your units will start crumbling, falling apart. You'll just lose them really quickly if your leadership falters. So you have to have a ton of leadership, and they all have really low base leadership, like 40 or something, a lot of your units. So you really need a lot of leadership. So this is awesome. It gives you 5 leadership. This gives you 15 leadership. That's crazy. That's like 30% more leadership on a lot of these units, which is 3 skill points. So this is extremely good. Speaking of extremely good, look at this. 12 extra melee attack for zombies, skeletons, and crypt ghouls. That is crazy. Let me just show you a zombie here real quick. They start off with 5. So that means that if you get 12 more, you're doing over 200% more damage. You're doing 240% extra damage based on how melee attack interacts with defense. You know, go look at the Dwarf campaign if you want to see the specifics on that. But you're basically doing 240% extra damage by getting that. Just think about that. 3 skills, 240% extra damage with your zombies. And these are going to be the backbone of your army early on. So it's really important that these guys are relevant. Because usually you don't think, oh, they're just not going to do any damage. But they might. If you get that skill, you know, they can definitely put in some work. It's going to take a long time to hack through all those zombies. It also is skeleton wars. I mean, look at this. That's, you know, almost 100%. Not quite. It's like 60%. It's like 60% extra damage. That's crazy. And then you also get it on this. So, you know, that's like 40% on these guys. So it benefits 3 of your most prominent early tier units for just 3 points and makes them extremely effective. So this is what I'm going to rush. I'm going to get this very, very soon. Creatures of the Night, decent. I don't run with a lot of fell bats and wolves. I have some bats, but this is pretty good to increase your size so that more units get more leadership. That's going to be good. And then You know, you just kind of have to get this. This is good, though. It's a nice steroid. So if you have a bunch of guys that are about to crumble or they're already crumbling, just go ahead and just pop the leadership. They'll stick around for longer. This is good once you get cavalry down the line. So not early, but maybe later on it'll be okay. This is phenomenal. Again, this is your bread and butter unit at the end of the game. So Crypt Horrors and Graveguard. And these units are still only going to have, you know, in the 20s and 30s melee attack. So an extra 12 is going to be anywhere from, you know, 50% all the way up to, or from 30% to 50%, somewhere in that range most likely. So this is quite good. This is even better because they start from a much lower base with the zombies and skeletons, but this is still quite good. This is okay. I mean, extra 12 melee attack for Vargeist and Terrorgeist. So the Vargeist actually have pretty low, or not low, but decent melee. This is still good. This is still quite good on them later in the game. And this is awesome. So you get extra melee attack, leadership, and melee defense. All three of these you really, really need with your units. So this is a fantastic steroid for just when you're getting in there, just completely surrounding people. Just pop that. It's awesome. There was something down here that was crazy that I read before too. That I really... Oh, this. An extra vampire. Like, recruitment capacity. That's insane. I think you still have to get up to the vampire building before you can make use of this, but, you know, once you get to level 4, this means that every single lord that you have lets you have an additional vampire. That is so many hero units. That's crazy. Like, I don't know exactly what the vampires do yet, but that's crazy. It's really good. Like, hero units are often quite strong, and they're usually pretty hard to get. Like, you can only get 1 or 2 of them, at least with the dwarves and the orcs. It's a lot harder to get more. But this is just a couple extra points there. So that's crazy. Casualty replenishment, that's pretty good. So, I mean, there's good stuff in all of the trees. For sure. I think it gets a little bit less good once you get a lot of points in here. But there's definitely a ton of different options here, which is great. It's very refreshing because, as we saw, the skill tree doesn't have a ton of options, at least not for the first 55 turns. But this seems to have quite a few really awesome options. Especially at the level 1. Like, I want this, and I want this. But you always get Root Marcher first. That's what it's called in other trees. I guess the Restless Dead here. The campaign movement range, 10%. It's the best stat in the game, and it's just 1 point. So, gotta get it. Because so many times you'll just be 1 pixel away from being able to engage in that fight or take that town. Or, you know, just do something that you want to do to get back in your town so you can replenish more for 1 turn. It's just, this is a game of pixels on the campaign map, and that extra 10% move speed is invaluable. So you absolutely have to have that right away every time. Well, let me think about this actually. Now that I said that, let me see my movement range real quick. Okay, so I can fight him. Is he going to get supported? Yes. Okay, so I might eat my words here. This is the one exception that I have ever thought of where I'm going to get something else. I'm going to get the hunger for this. Because I'm going to be down this fight, and I'm going to need Mannfred to face tank this. Quite a lot of this fight. And I need for him to heal that. And I know that right after this fight, I'm pretty sure I'm going to gain another level, or I'm going to be close to it. And once I gain that level, then I can get campaign range. Because what I had done on the 20 turn is get this, and then just start working my way through here. Because these are just such awesome 1-point wonders. But I think I'm going to get hunger first, just so that I can heal for this one really hard fight that I'm about to engage in for the end of this episode. So, because I think I'm going to gain another level off of it. Okay, so we're doing the hunger. This is the 1 in a million when you do not get this first, but under most circumstances with most races, if you ever have an option for 1 point campaign movement range level 1, do it automatically. It's so good. Unless you know, once again, you're going to get into a huge fight, and there's another 1-point wonder that you need to pick up. Okay. So I could sit here and heal up, but the problem with that is he's also going to heal up. And this guy could make units. There's just a lot of things that could go wrong here. So I just want to win this fight. So they had 7, 10. I mean, this is barely 1 unit. I mean, I think 1 spell cast of soul leech or whatever is going to kill this guy. And I thought I just killed this guy last fight. Didn't I see a red skull and crossbones, or am I crazy? How did this guy get resurrected? He lost the fight. How did he get experience? He lost. Okay, I don't understand some of these things. But I could have sworn I killed him last turn. But anyways, I guess he's back. So we should be able to dispatch these guys pretty quickly. The problem is these guys. So they have... What is this? Castle Templehof. Jeez, I don't remember them having this much last time. I may not be able to fight this after all.
The true Vortencaster. No.
I don't remember them having this many units in my 20 turn. Let me think about this.
This night.
So I have 8. This guy, I mean, this basically doesn't count. Like, he's going to die immediately. It's Castle Temple off. I don't remember their... Okay, so they have skeleton spearmen, bats, zombies.
I refuse.
So they're going to have 7... They're going to have 15 units. Oh, I can raise dead. How many can I get? I can get 4 units. That'll give me 12. So, okay, that's what I was forgetting. So this is going to be... Okay, that's a little better. Okay, so it's going to be... I was about to say, I remember being undergunned, but I don't remember being that undergunned. Okay, so they're going to have... What was that? 8? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No.
15. So they're going to have 15 basically on my 12. And the Vargulf is kind of hurt. My zombies are pretty hurt. So once again, I could take a turn and higher here if I really wanted to. But I'm just going to get...
Never. Darkness comes.
I think I can beat him. I think I can beat him.
I refuse.
This is going to be really dicey, but really bold. But I did it in the other campaigns. I'm going to do it. You guys probably want to see me start off with a bang. You want to see what I'm capable of here? Let's do this. I think we can do it.
All die.
12 on 15. Not including these little gimps that I'm going to erase. You know, like before these guys probably even get on the map. Well, let's be real. Zombies move pretty slow. But I think I'm going to be able to clean these guys up before these guys are able to get to them to help them. So we're going to use the Vargulf to tank. Probably tank zombies. Maybe not. I want to keep him around the perimeter and just constantly weave in and out. To just charge over, fight somebody else from the back, and just keep cycling charges with him. Because he has a pretty nice charge bonus. He's got 50, so... And remember, the charge bonus increases his attack, so he's basically going to hit every attack, and it increases his damage. So, I just want to charge cycle him, just get these guys to stick on the line. Use these bats. I don't even know what we'll use the bats on. We'll use the bats on something. What is the damage on these hounds? Because I want to... Maybe I'll fight them with the Vargulf. Just to go ahead and get them out of there. Fight them with the Vargulf and maybe Mannfred. Because Vargulf and Mannfred need to be my tank kind of characters. I just cycle charges with them. Because they both are going to regenerate. So I think that's our game plan. Is just kind of lock these guys up. Charge into the back of things with Mannfred. Who's the Lord? Just spam spells on this guy until he dies. Okay, I think we can do this. Let's do it. Okay, that's some nice magic there. I'll take that. So we'll go ahead and make these guys Unit 1. They don't have anything large, so these spearmen aren't really going to matter who they target. We're going to save our magic for spirit leeches, and we're just going to spam those on all of their heroes as much as we can to keep an eye on this guy. This guy will be our flyer, and this will be our flanker. This is a really good flanker also. He doesn't have a ton of health, but he applies poison and has high weapon strength and a decent charge, so he's alright. So let's just get everyone here. Now, one thing to note about regeneration also is that you cannot regenerate over what you start the fight with. So this Vargulf will not regenerate past 4600 throughout the entire fight. So don't think you can just put a regenerating unit into the battle and like hide in the trees or something and expect that they're going to regenerate all the way up. So look. Whoa, it does? Okay, I eat my words. I could have sworn I tried that with trolls in a fight, and it would not let me do that with the orcs. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to tell my my orc audience then that I apologize, because apparently you can do that. So regeneration is that. So you could hide in the woods and let your guy heal up all the way. Okay, so they're coming at me slowly. That's fine. I should be able to take these guys out. Should I just... I don't want to waste any magic on him, honestly, unless he's just trying to run or something. I could try to fight on this hill. Now they're trying to come at me with these bats. Good, actually, that's really good, because then if they like fight me... Are they gonna come down on me? Come on. I don't know, maybe they're just like hanging out. I don't know what they're doing. They cast something on it. I don't know what that is. How far are those guys? They're kind of close. So now they're coming down on me. This is fine. I'm cool with this. Alright, let's go ahead and form up here. Is this guy not dead yet? I'm just gonna use a Spirit Leech on him. I probably shouldn't, but I need to just go ahead and form up. I don't need to worry about that anymore. Alright, let's get in there and get these guys. So he should... yeah, he's gone. So we want to hold on to these. Hold on to these bats. Form up. Yeah, these guys are done. Surround them so they don't get away. Okay, so we went ahead and got their bats out. Okay, so we can go ahead and drop down and get these guys. Should be fine. So they're done. These guys ran away. Alright, let's reform. Doing pretty well. These guys are having a bit of a hard time here, but okay, they're back. We're good. How are we looking on magic? Let's go ahead and pop this. Get a little bit of reserves back. Okay. These guys are having a hard time for some reason. Okay, where's their dude? Why are these guys crumbling? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Get these guys out. Don't charge in there like that. Alright. Spear leech this guy. Okay, we're holding in there, alright? Yeah, get in there. Get these guys. Why are we not, like, form up. Get him. Let's back out with the birds. Alright, I'm gonna back up with him a little bit. Let's go ahead and get their dude again. Just backing out a little bit. Just so I can get a charge in here. Get these guys charge. Okay, let's back out here for a little bit. So let's go ahead and heal up some crumbling units here. Let's heal up these guys a little bit here. Alright. Watching for Spirit Leech. Okay, we got Spirit Leech back. Grab that guy. Alright. Let's go ahead and see if we can back up a little bit. We might not be able to with Mannfred. This fight's going okay. It's not great, obviously, but how much power reserves do we have left? Not a ton, actually, so we need to kill him with this. Where'd he go? Dang it. He's hidden in here. Okay, we got him. Alright, so we can use this on healing our own guys then. So we need some healing. These guys do. Okay, so back out with the Vargul. Pop that. I need to get through this so I can get out and charge. Okay, the Vargulf is getting out. Then I just want to charge back in here. Get that charge bonus going. That's what I'm trying to do with Mannfred here. He's kind of fighting his way out. So I'm just trying to step out here. Just gonna heal a little bit more on a unit that could use it. Let's use it on this guy. Alright. Charge in there with Mannfred. Alright. I mean, this definitely isn't looking awesome, but I still think we can win. It looks kind of dire. We're gonna lose a lot of things here, but let's go ahead and pop up power reserves here. So I just want to step out one more time with everyone here. Get out, go back in, get this charge bonus. So let's charge him. Charge these guys in the back. So this is not looking great, but I honestly think that just Mannfred and the Vargulf could probably take him at this point. We'll see. Let's go ahead and pop this on these guys because they're still kind of alive. So let's back out with the Vargulf real quick. Let's go ahead and charge into this unit. It should crumble, like, almost immediately. Okay, so these guys aren't going to let me back up. Let's hit these guys right here. Pop this. Okay, see, they're crumbling right there. So we're going to back up again. Then we're going to charge this guy.
Address me as master.
So my skeletons are kind of holding in there.
Portals
Not doing awesome, but they're doing okay.
I saw
Back off with, let's back up with Mannfred a little bit here.
the blood kiss from them. To the swift as death's wings.
Come on. Fight your way out, Mannfred.
Only my souls linger.
So all of them, or at least a couple of them, are crumbling. So I'm just going to back up a little bit. We're going to have to kite them. Okay, let's see here. To kite them just a little bit. Okay, so we might be able to... They're chasing Mannfred. Let's run over here. See, he's healing up a little bit. So they should be crumbling. So we're going to heal up a little bit here. Alright, so let's get in here and charge the back of these guys. That should shatter them. Now my own guys are about to kick the bucket here, but let's just have Mannfred heal himself up. And the Vargolf can probably clean these guys up here. Yeah, he just shattered them all, basically. Alright, so they're done. Okay, got it. Alright, we got it, you guys. It's getting a little hairy there. I lost way more units than I did in my 20 turn, but we were able to win the fight. So that's good. I don't think we're going to level up, which is unfortunate. But we were able to just totally wipe out everything. Okay, so we got a couple of units back. Okay, so it only gave us a Pyrrhic victory. I mean, I don't understand how that works because I started off with about half the units they had and I killed about twice as many as they had. So that seems pretty, if not heroic, then at least, you know, normal victory or close victory or something like that. I don't know. I thought I did pretty well there, but okay. Anyways, whatever. We'll take it. Why did this guy not die? I killed him. I don't understand how they don't die when I kill them. This is the second time. Do they just get like a free resurrection as undead or what? Like, I'll guarantee you I lost a couple of lords in my 20 turn trial. One lord in my 20 turn trial, and he didn't get a free resurrection. So I don't know how that works. Okay, we can't take the replenishment because we're in enemy territory, and I'm pretty sure if you take a replenishment option in enemy territory, you don't get it back. I know if you stay in the enemy territory, then you certainly don't get it back. Because I tried that with the orcs just for fun early on, just to see if that worked, and it does not. So that leadership actually helped a ton there. I mean, that 4 leadership kept our guys alive just long enough to hold on. I mean, if we didn't have that 4 leadership, you know, our guys would have crumbled about 10% faster. And, you know, it was down to the wire. Like, it was getting a little scary. I was going to have to pull some rabbits out of my hat to finish that up, but we just happened to charge into the back of that last unit there, and it just caused enough damage where it just cascaded and everybody died. So they were holding up incredibly well for having lost their lord. All right. So the question is, do we just go for more leaderships? This is only 170 dark magic, which is not much, and we are going to be fighting a lot. Now, what this does is it stacks, I believe. So this would give us 9 turns of +4. I think that's what we're going to do, just because 170 is such a low number. Yeah, let's just do that. Alright, so we got a couple of things here.
Such a thing is
Yeah, I don't understand, because I saw every single thing die, including this lord. So I don't know how they got that back.
Ready.
So So,
refuse.
I mean, is their garrison at least really hurt? Can I see that? Because they still have 3 things in their garrison somehow.
Come, impress me.
Okay, so I can buy some more dead things. Can raise the dead. I have 8 things, and they have 3. And they're gonna heal, but I think if I siege them, then they don't get to heal. I believe that's how that works. So I want to go ahead and siege them, because I think if all they have is this and just a couple units, I think we can win that. We might even be able to auto-resolve that. I don't think that would be cheating too much, because these guys are just going to heal so much, and they're just not going to have a threat. I mean, I'm just going to spam Siphon Life on their guy. These guys have almost no HP, and the things in the garrison shouldn't have much HP. So let's just at least take a look here and see what we can get.
Bring war.
Yeah, so it agrees. It's giving me like a zillion to 1 odds, but it's going to take a turn. It's actually going to take 2 turns, which is pretty annoying, to get a siege item. But they're not going to get to regenerate. Yeah, these guys have almost no HP, so I think I'm just going to auto-resolve this in a couple of turns. So let's just, we'll go ahead and build one of these, why not? And we'll get rid of the skeleton here at the end of the turn, also, just to save a little cash. I don't think it should change the calculus here that much, because I'm not going to be able to replenish either. So let's go ahead and
Destroy.
2 turns, continue the siege.
Wipe them out.
Alright, so let's go ahead and give this guy the boot, save a little cash. It should be the same, and they can't replenish. As we saw, they're not going to get to replenish, and they're not going to get to hire anything. So we should have them right where we want them. Okay, so we're definitely over time here, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. We got a nice couple of really good manual fights in here. That's what I want in this campaign. I have a couple extra things to do bookkeeping before the turn ends, but I think I'm going to do one more episode back to back here. So yeah, I'll do one more episode back to back, and then I'll render these and put them out, and then I'll go ahead and put out a dwarf and an orc video as well. But thank you very much. As usual, I really appreciate you viewing the video. It's always a pleasure to broadcast for you. If you enjoyed the content here and you've enjoyed some of the other videos on the channel as well, strongly consider giving me a subscribe and a like. It helps encourage me to keep going, to really try to make these videos as good as I can make them, and it just helps out a ton. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening.